Welcome to caribnet.com. I'm your host Michael Adams, and this is the 6th interview in our series covering the 2011 Grenada Chamber of Industry and Commerce Business Awards. Today we're speaking with Mr. Phillip Gittens of the Green Company, winners of the Environmental Excellence of the Year Award 2011. Hope you enjoy the interview. Here it is. Yeah, how are you?
Well, still polite and humble.
Good to hear. Now, obviously I'm talking to you because you were the proud recipient of the Environmental Excellence Award, in 2011. And how did you feel about receiving that award?
Well, I feel it was a booster, let's put it this way, and an honor. Because what we are actually doing is trying to help clean up this environment.
Yeah, and I think that is an absolutely fantastic thing. Now, what I would have to ask is, it's a big challenge. Certainly, environmental issues have become vogue in recent years. So, what, as an entrepreneur, took you to really grab the bull by the horns in that area?
Actually, it has to do with support from my two kids. My daughter, she taught chemistry years ago at TAMCC. And she's very much into the environment and trying to rid the country of all this plastic lying around. Then also, as you realize, that we are trying to join with major first world countries in providing its citizens and business sector with the safest and healthiest water to drink. Being mindful that water is life, and healthy water is long life. Mm-hmm. Because you are aware that 90% of your body is made up of water. Yeah. And today, most people has forgotten the secret of health, which is when they feel thirsty, the first thing they feel they must drink is a soda or something with sugar in it, whereas they definitely need water.
Absolutely. So
and you know that also, this one point cannot be emphasized enough, because if you wait until you are thirsty, you're already dehydrated, and this is affecting your cells. And the body would always give signs of when it needs water. You can feel thirsty, have a headache, feel fatigue, dry eyes and mouth, dry lips, loss of appetite, or urine may be dark in color. So what if you don't like drinking water and prefer other beverages? So this is a problem. Most times we need water instead of all the other alternatives, whereas a simple glass of water is what is a healthier choice.
Well, I mean, that's fantastic advice. And how does the Green Company operate? Exactly what is it? What is your output? What are you saying for people to get these messages across? What are the type of products or services that you put out as the Green Company?
Okay, for example, first of all, apart from protecting nature Earth, we want people to live healthier, right? And what we do, we already have a water system in place. And all we are trying to do is to take that same water and clean it up, purify it. In other words, we remove all the chemicals from the water. Mm-hmm. We remove the sediments from the water. And we remove any bacteria that is left in the water. So what we do is always better to drink what we call running water. So you can get water out of right at your home. You just press a button and you get pure healthy water coming out your tap, because we have the under sink and we use what is called reverse osmosis. Mm-hmm. Right? Then we have that at your home. We can clean up the water that you get from your different government distribution. We clean that up so all your facets and everything can be maintained clean, and your body would be cleaner and your health would be a lot better.
So it's a filtration system, basically.
That's right. And then ever so often we do some maintenance whereby we sanitize the system every 6 months, or even maybe before, depend on the demand and the need. So your quality water remains above drinking standards. You never have to worry about maintenance or breakdown or any other problem, since we provide same-day service.
So in respect of some of the challenges that you may have had to face, because obviously the environmental issue is a good one, but obviously when you go into people's homes, sometimes you can meet a bit of resistance. You know, oh no, the water we're drinking's fine. How are you able to, in your marketing message, get people to come on board?
Well, we have two things available. First of all, everybody is looking at the economy these days, and you're looking at the costs of other options. And secondly, the green company, the bottled water, coolers, we start using the point of use coolers, such as the one provided by the green company. So, of bottled water, coolers are more prone to contamination due to the handling of these bottles during delivery, installation, and also the bottles or the dispenser. So that's another point where the use of the coolers use a closed system. The chance of contamination due to handling is eliminated. So you may go and buy water, but then the handling of it and setting it up for use, it could be further contaminated. And then you would be aware of the BP, because since we're using plastic is a petroleum-based product.
Yes, carcinogenics.
Yes, and then it is exposed to heat, it breaks down into your water, and when you think you're having a nice glass of clean, healthy water, you are actually contaminating yourself.
Yeah, and of course, if bottles are left lying around and then they heat up and cool down again.
That's right.
Yeah, it's the carcinogenics. I understand that.
And then also, you have, these days, you have the high rate of breast cancer and prostate cancer. And that is pointed in a very serious way to the use of plastic. So that will break down, the BP will break down into your water, and then you're exposing yourself. So you're exposing your children very early to cancer, which is, to me, is so high in today's world. So if you could avoid something, then you're looking at the cost. So you spending money to make yourself sick, that ain't making no sense.
No, absolutely. So how is this message being received?
Well, I must say, praise God, so far, the banking sector, I tell you some of our clientele at the moment, the banking sector, the energy sector, the medical institutions, the hotels, the restaurant, and residential, to name a few, they are all gravitating to our system, because the first world country, places like Canada and so, they don't give children water in plastic. You don't go in a restaurant in Canada and get water out of a plastic glass. You get glass. You understand? And these are banned, these are prohibited because of the risks. So why at an early age you are making your children sick? And you're supposed to love your children, aren't you?
Absolutely.
So these are some of the factors, and we have some one or two little radio programs, and I hope that with the exposure and the information, just like the Chamber of Commerce have seen it necessary to recognize us, I think more people will recognize us, and the other institutions, I know there's one hotel who got an award for using our system, because a lot of their guests come from Europe, and they know about healthy water.
So basically, your emphasis is on healthy living through water and providing people with those mechanisms. In terms of how you see your future growth, or in these recessionary times, maybe even consolidation, where do you sit with that? How do you see yourself moving forward?
Well, I think I think eventually people, this will be big business, because water is becoming essential, and water, as I said, is life, and water is going to get scarcer and scarcer, because you have to think of how, in Grenada, for example, we use a lot of surface water, and that water is heavily polluted, and it's going to get scarcer and scarcer because of global warming and so forth, because we can also harvest your rainwater. So you can store your water and make sure when it's ready for drinking, it can be clean again. You can bring it back to pure water. And I think this is important.
And in terms of the system itself, once it's installed, it's low maintenance?
It's low maintenance, and we sanitize your machine maybe every 4 to 6 months, where we go in and give it a proper overhaul, clean, because the interior of the machine is stainless steel. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
We sanitize it, we change the system, the filters, and you're good to go.
Oh, that's fantastic.
You see, and then through the process of reverse osmosis, because in fact we also hooked up with through the brewer standards. They use our system, and when they test our water, they found it to be one of the highest quality.
Well, that's fantastic, right? Because
and then UNESCO, we had a program through TAMCC. We were going to the schools and lecture to them about reverse osmosis. Those are the children doing science, the fifth standards, and so in the secondary schools. And we were doing that free. We were doing that free with Mr. Thomas.
Yeah.
We were giving up our time in helping to educate the public, and every education always starts with children.
Well, that's a great initiative, and that's really a good point in which to kind of bring this interview to a close. I mean, the time has whizzed by. It's been very, very informative, yes. And I think it's very clear for people who will be listening to this to understand why you won the award and the investment that you've actually made in the people of Grenada to make sure that they stay healthy and that our environment remains healthy.
Very much so, because the system is made, the system itself is made in Germany, and then it is also get a blessing of the England.
The blessing of England.
Yes, and they modernize the system, and it's proven and tested, and it's important to have it very simple, is affordable, and you can have a system right in your home to give you healthy water. So whether your water may come from the Nawasa or whoever is the provider of water, it may not be as clean as you may want it to be, you can then clean it up. Because if you, for example, when the people go to space exploration, the people who go to the moon and all these missions, they don't carry water, they clean up the urine and so on and drink it.
Yes, I could believe that, and I think that what would be good for us, Philip, is maybe to come back outside the remit of this interview and talk to you again, because it would be good for Caribnet, who will be carrying this broadcast, to play out this conversation and maybe have you as a guest to talk this through.
No problem at all, because you see, the whole idea is to remove virtually all the pollutants.
Okay, well, that's good. Well, listen, it's been a great pleasure talking with you. Maybe you're going to win the event again. Who knows? 2 years in a row.
Well, that will be beautiful, and thank you for your support.
No problem.
And encouragement.
No problem. Good to talk to you.
Okay, same here.
Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed this interview and look forward to you joining us for the rest of the series. I've been your host, Michael Adams, and all that is left for me to do is to wish you all the very best from the Caribnet.com family, and don't forget to tell your friends and colleagues to log in to Caribnet.com for some great features. That's CARIBBNET.com. That's 2 B's. Goodbye for now.